Hello and welcome, Janet Beckers here. Well, I've got a special podcast episode for you this week because it's just me teaching. And we're going to be looking at the question that I'm really fascinated with, which is, why is it that some people just seem to be able to get results faster and longer lasting, and it seems to be done just so much easier? There's not as much drama, not as much resistance. Why is it that some people get those sort of results and other people don't? And yet, all of them are incredibly clever. They're very passionate about the work that they do. They're very skilled. And they may very often be doing exactly the same actions, the same material that they may be working through. So how does that happen? So that's what I'm going to share with you today, because after years now, I've been coaching and mentoring. I've been in this space now for about 12 years. And in fact, longer, really. But 12 years since I really officially launched. And over that time, I've been really fortunate. I've worked really closely, sort of like one-on-one or in very small group VIP programs with over 100 people now. And I've also worked with thousands that have been in my bigger group programs. And I've really got to see that there are some people that they just get the success easy. These are the people that, will get featured in case studies. They're the great testimonials that show huge results that they got. They're the people that I will invite along for me to interview about how they did that here on my podcast. There's those people, and so I've really come to see that there are certain characteristics. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to break down those characteristics that I have noticed in the clients that I've had over all these years that get those results. Not just that they get them faster, but it's done with a lot less stress, a lot less drama. It just feels easier for them and for me. And so I'm going to break down what those characteristics are. And importantly, I'm also going to show you how you can model them. So we're going to have a look at what are some really practical things that you can be doing today to start embodying some of these characteristics that really can help predetermine if you're going to be successful or not. And I'm also going to share with you how I've learnt from my clients. They will come to me because they will be learning a lot from me, from my experience and the mentoring that I can give them on building their businesses online. But also they will be modeling a lot of the characteristics that I share, that's helped me to be able to get to this stage. But it works both ways, because I get to work with really clever people, like amazing people. And when I look at the people who are really getting the results, I think, well, how do I bottle up the essence of them? And how do I actually bring that into my own life? So I'm doing exactly the same as I'm going to be helping you to do today, is looking at what they're doing and seeing what can I do to actually bring more of that into the way I do business. And I've kind of reverse engineered how you can do the same. Now, to help you to do this, I've also got an action plan for you, a downloadable that you can use that's going to help you to go through these 5 characteristics, and also to be able to have some exercises that you can be working through. So the real action steps. So just know that you don't have to get it all in one go, that I've got that there for you, and it's going to guide you through those steps. So I am particularly interested to hear from you. As I go through this today, I would love to hear from you. Do you recognize that there are some of these characteristics that you've got? Which is really exciting, because double down on what's working for you. And I'm also really interested to know, are there any things here that I've mentioned that you go, well, if I'm really, really honest, I'm not doing that. Or the results are showing me that I'm not doing it. And that's good. That's okay. Because these are areas that if you're going to be really focusing on improving anything, these 5 areas if you just focus on improving these when it comes to the way that you conduct business, not what you're doing, but the way that you conduct business. Double down on these 5, those ones that you're struggling with, that challenge you. Use these steps that I've got for you, because it can make a huge difference for you. So I really want to hear from you both ways. What are the ones where you're going, yeah, I'm doing that, I'm going to really double down, or the ones where you go, oh, there's a bit of a red flag for me, this is what I'm going to commit to actually start working on. I'd really love to hear from you. So either drop me an email, a message, leave a comment here on the podcast page. If you are listening to the podcast over on iTunes, I would really appreciate if you would help other people to find this. And the best way you can do that is to leave a comment and a ranking. So I'd really appreciate that. And you can even comment on this particular episode. Very free to do that. All right, so let's get stuck into it, and make sure that you go and download that action sheet that I've got for you, because it's really going to help things to move along faster for you. Now, if you're watching this here on the video on the podcast page, you'll see me every now and then looking down. That's because I'm using my notes. I'm actually referring to the action sheet that I've got for you, and I'm picking out some of those points here, knowing that you can go into more detail, okay? And I also have an article for you on this page, so you can see things at a glance as well. All right, let's get stuck into it. So these are the 5 characteristics of the clients that I have worked with over the last decade that they all have in common, the ones that create the success with the most ease and in the fastest time. So let's have a look at that. Now, number 1 is, and this is a really interesting one. I've really just come to notice this. I noticed it with one client to start with, and Tiffany. Hey Tiff, where Tiff and I actually discussed this, where I was saying that the things that was just making it so easy to get results with her is because she was an athlete. And because of that, she had these certain characteristics that all athletes actually have to embody in order to get the results in their sport. So this is number 1. Now, you may have that you have a particular sport that you have not just gone, you know what, I'm going to play this for fun, where you've actually gone, you know what, I'm going to do what it takes to be the best that I can be at this. Notice I said the best that I can be. So it may be, in Tiff's example, it was tennis, and then it was golf. In other people that I've worked with, it may be that they're into surfing, but they approach it in a way that, they want to be the best that they can be. So they're always constantly improving at what they do. It may be running. They may be a person who goes in running races and sets themselves that bar to do better and better and better. Or swimming. It could be any sport. And now the other thing it could also be is a creative pursuit, which may be, say, dance, or it may be a musical instrument, learning a musical instrument, some other sort of art that you may be doing. The difference here is that it's not just, I'm going to, like me, paint. I'm going to paint because it gives me joy. I haven't necessarily gone down the track of going, you know what, I am going to end up, exhibiting in the Win Prize or whatever. It's not the thing that I really want to invest that time in. But I'm going to share with you later some of the things that I have been approaching these particular characteristics in. So now you may also have, sometimes it may also be in business. Now, the thing that I have found, though, with the people who are the most successful is they're not only showing that discipline and drive and a real sense of wanting to get mastery in one particular thing and do it really, really well. They very often, if they have it in business, they also have it in something that is in their personal life. And it's usually required that they have to have incredible discipline, because they've got to get up and keep on going to training. They've got to get a coach, and they understand what it means to work with a coach and just do as they're told. Well, not do as they're told, but listen to the coach and trust that if I do this, it's going to work. They've had to fail numerous times. So usually, I just really, really noticed it. So I quite often ask people, is there a time when you have set yourself a specific goal and you have really, really worked towards it, and it took an amazing amount of discipline. For example, I've got a couple of clients that may say to me, you know what, I wouldn't say that I necessarily have a sport, but when we've talked further, they set themselves a goal of doing a bodybuilding competition. I've had a few that have done that, and once they did it, that was okay. It wasn't their big passion, but they set that goal. So ask yourself, this is the tough question. How often have you settled for mediocrity? Settled to be average? And when in your life have you challenged yourself to be the absolute best that you can be, to have mastery of something that takes discipline, that takes learning something new, and keep on learning and learning and failing and turning up and keep on doing it until you get really, really good? Now, I will give you an example of something that I'm working on at the moment, because as I said at the beginning, this is something that, you know, I can still remember that first conversation with Tiff going, I want to work out what it is. I reckon, what is it that has been around you being an athlete? What have you brought into what you're doing here with me? And it was really interesting. We started that conversation, and then it's been something that I have continued with a lot of the people who I've worked with, looking at those things. So I'll share with you one thing that I am working on now. Is that I have set myself a goal for this year, is that I'm going to get incredibly strong and fit for me, and I'm going to continually improve on doing that. And I'll be sharing with you, I'll use this one as a bit of a theme because it's kind of my obsession at the moment, and as we go through the rest of this, I'll show you how I'm taking what I've learned from my clients and applying it to this particular one. So in that, it's to do with running and also with getting very, very strong so that I can go and do all of those things that I want to be able to doing, but be doing it so that I can be going in some running races, in some extreme, for me, extreme, obstacle type, endurance type competitions, with the main reason that I want to be really energetic and healthy, but setting these goals so that I will have a reason to keep on getting better and better and better. So I'll share with those with you as I'm going. But that's my question to you, is I want you to ask yourself that, is there something that you can this week decide that, you know what, I've always dabbled around with this particular thing, and it doesn't have to be in business. It could be a personal thing. It could be something physical, creative, whatever it is. Set yourself a goal that, you know what, I'm going to approach this for mastery, that I'm going to be doing this as well as I can and continually improve, continue to be the best that I can be at that. That's my challenge to you. And then if you're doing that in other things in your life, it will naturally flow over to what you're doing in your business. Okay, that's number 1 of 5. So I'd love to hear from you. So now let's move over to number 2. And this really, you can see that you can see how number 1 is actually, here is evidence of having applied the next 4 activities. So choosing that one thing can be a really nice litmus test for you of, are you actually implementing these other 4? So here they are. This one is a really powerful one, is the people who I work with that get the best success with the most persistence, the real sort of resilience, are the people who, they don't focus on the competitors. They don't focus on competition. They focus on personal best. Now, you may be thinking, hey, if these are people who've really excelled in a particular sport, if they're athletic, surely that's competitive. Yes, but they're competing against themselves. Now, where this gets really powerful is if you are intending on going for a personal best, you have to be measuring. How do you know if you've beaten your previous record unless you are actually measuring? And the nice part about this is, if you are always looking at, did I do better this time than I did last time, then you're not going to be comparing yourself to everybody else. If you're not looking at personal best, it is so easy to look and see what other people are doing and go, oh, why am I even bothering? Look how awesome they are. I'm not doing well enough, I'm a failure, whatever head talk that you've got going. If you're focusing on the competition, that will always happen. But if you're focusing on your personal best, it won't happen. And think about how many times that you may have watched, say, the Olympics, and you can get somebody that may have won the gold medal, and they will go, yeah, I got a gold medal. But how many times do you hear them say, hey, and I'm really excited, I got a PB, I got a personal best. The gold was awesome, or even the silver or the bronze or whatever, but it was the PB. That is the thing that they're focused on. So these are even the people who are winning it all, they're focusing on that. Now, in order to measure, to know this, you've got to measure. So, for example, if you're doing this in your business, how do you know if you are getting better? So think about the things that are important for you at the moment to measure. It might be, how many people are on my mailing list? Have I improved? How many people, if I do some videos, how many people are commenting? Can I do something that's going to improve so that I get more comments, perhaps when I do Facebook Lives, more people viewing? What can I be doing so that if I perhaps do a launch or a webinar and I'm selling, how many people bought? Measure those sorts of things so that you can go, hey, I am improving, I'm getting better. That's the big focus, because it also makes you resilient, because if you're always focusing on getting better, you can kind of take the emotion out of a lot of it as well. Now, I'll give you an example that I can look at here, is always looking at your own personal best. So the first thing, I want you to set yourself a goal. So that goal could be around your business goal, and also I want you to set yourself a personal goal. It could be something that's really small, and let me give you an example of one that I did a couple of years ago, and honestly it revolutionized my life by deciding to approach it in the way that my best clients do. And that is, I wanted to get fit and healthy. And this is a few years ago. You can see this has been a theme of mine for a while. And but I've always been a night owl, which has not been a big problem. But I was finding, because I'm a night owl, mornings were a write-off. I wasn't exercising in the morning because I wasn't getting up early and life got busy. And even though I set the intention to do exercise at night, in the afternoon or at lunchtime, it never happened. I got busy. You know, family came home, blah, blah, blah. So I realized if I was going to get fit, I was going to have to get up early. And I was going to have to meet friends and go and exercise with them, because that would get me out of bed. So in order to do that, it meant that I had to go to bed by a certain time and I had to get up early. This might sound like a minor thing, but the way that I measured mine in terms of personal best is how many times that week did I get up at the time that I said I was. And for my swimming buddies, which I'm still doing now years later, twice a week it's 5 a.m. For a night person, that was a killer. So how many times did I get up straight away? How many times did I hit the snooze button? How many times did I make an excuse to myself and to them about why I couldn't go? All of those sorts. So that was what I was measuring. And also, how many times could I get in the car with them, because we carpool to the pool, and when they say good morning, that I don't go, you know, when did I get to the point where I could actually go, good morning? So they were the things that I measured. Now, it took me 18 months, but now I can get up at 5 o'clock quite easily. I can get up even earlier if I need to, if there's something I need to do. I can, you know, and it's not a drama, and I can be in a good mood when I do it. So that is the result. But if I hadn't been measuring, if I had only compared myself, you know, that, oh, I didn't do it today, I could have given up. So that is an example of one, what seems really simple but was life-changing for me, thing that came from me applying that strategy of only focusing on the personal best and not on what other people are doing. Okay, now let's look at number 3. I don't know if you can hear, or there's a blowy, there's a fly buzzing around here, and I really don't want to stop videoing in order to do it. So if I get a little bit distracted, it's because I'm looking at that. Okay, this is number 3, and I tell you what, this sounds simple, but honestly, I reckon out of all of them, this is the one, if you can nail this, it makes all the others so much easier. And that is the people who I get the best results with, they just do it. They just get it. In fact, I often hear them say, I don't get why when people know this is what I've got to do, and if I do this, I'll get the results. I don't understand why they don't do it. They just don't get it. Bless them. Because the reality is, I find that the majority of people, they don't just do it. They will know what they've got to do, and then they will start sabotaging. They will procrastinate on it. They will second guess. And I'm really, there's a lot of reason that can come to this, but I have really come to recognize that one of the main ones is fear. And very often it's a fear of rejection or a fear of failure. It's things that move them out of their comfort zone. And because of that, they don't do it. And they will make excuses to themselves. I got really, really busy. So-and-so got sick. This happened, that happened. But if they're really, really honest, and I want you to be honest with yourself, there's some kind of fear behind there. And I get it. I totally get it. And you know what? There's lots of things that I can say to you, like really understanding what the fear is, stepping into it. But you know what? What I find is the best way is if you know, and I, with my VIP clients, we work out 90-day plans. They know what they've got to be doing every single month, broken down into weeks, so they know the actions they need to take to get the results. And a lot of people, they just don't do it. And instead of trying to psychoanalyze too much of it, the best thing is to go, right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to stop thinking. I'm going to stop second guessing. I just know it's got to be done. I'm going to do it right now. So that's my challenge to you. Just take the emotion out of it and just do it. If I bring it back to the thread that I've had going through this, which is my quest to get, continually to get fitter and stronger and full of energy, is when that alarm goes off at 5 o'clock, I say I get up at 5 o'clock, but I don't bounce out. It's not with me going, oh, great, it's 5 o'clock. I can't wait to get up. There is always those things that go through your head. And if I allow myself to second guess, I can very, very easily talk myself into the reason why I need to be in bed that morning. The only way to do it is to not think and just do it. So it doesn't sound very glamorous, but I can tell you what, it takes the emotion out of everything you are doing. So if you take that emotion out, just do it without thinking, it gets easier and easier and easier. And that's why you will hear me using the phrase scaresighted, or the term scaresight, which is just a word I made up, which is that feeling when you're really scared, like it may be pushing you out of your comfort zone. You might be feeling, if I do this, I could get rejected, I could get failed, I could make a fool of myself, all of these things. It feels scary, but it's kind of exciting because if I do it, I can get the results. Just step into it and stop thinking about it. So that's my thing to you. Now, what my challenge is, I want you to commit to one thing that you have, that you know, if you get this done, it's going to make things work, and just do it. Okay? Just do it. Stop thinking. Don't second guess. Don't procrastinate. Take the emotion out. Just do it. Okay, I reckon if you can nail that one, and sometimes you just got to pretend that you're a different person, the kind of person that just doesn't understand why you wouldn't do it. Just doing that over and over again rolls over into all these other activities. Okay, now here is another one that kind of fits in with this one as well. Is I find that the clients who I get the best results with, the ones who get success and it's without stress, and I can go, they just followed step by step exactly what I said to do. They just did it, and wow, it worked. Look at the results they're getting. It's great. These are the people who they don't second guess their advisors all the time. So they take their time to choose who it is that's going to be their coach or their mentor. And this may be who's going to be teaching them with their sport, or it could be me when it comes to building your business online. It could be somebody else that you've got that's going to be helping you with a different part of your business. It doesn't even have to be somebody that you're choosing to pay. It might be, you know what, this is the author that I'm going to follow, and I really resonate with them. I like their systems. I'm just going to follow it. So they take their time to choose who they're going to learn from. It doesn't mean that they do ridiculous research, but they know that I trust this person. And once they've made that decision, then they just listen and just get on with it. So they don't second guess. I find the people that can really struggle in getting things done is, even though they know, they can see, here's the step-by-step to do, it's worked for other people, they fight back against it. So they will second guess, they'll question constantly, and they will question me, they'll question the process. Are you absolutely sure this is what I need to do? And the problem is, it's because it's moving them out of their comfort zone. And so they really don't want to do it. So they're going to second guess. But the thing is, that just uses so much of your energy. It's so incredibly inefficient that instead of getting on and just applying it, they'll use a lot of energy, not backing themselves and not backing whoever it is that they have chosen to guide them to get the outcome they want. Now, I also get that if you are entrepreneurial, you love to create. I totally get that, where you want to be able to do things your way and have your own spin on things. But here is a really sound piece of advice, and that I've got from every single one that actually gets the results the fastest, is just follow along and do the steps, get the results, and then you can go back and look at, okay, what can I tweak to make this my own? What are the safe bits to tweak? And what are the things that I need to leave them as they are because that works? That's when you get to put your own spin on it, but not that first time. Okay, so as an example, because following with my one that I'm focusing on at the moment is, at the moment, I just know that I wanted to get strong and to be, just really energetic. So as part of that, I knew that I needed to do some things with my diet because I'd slowly been putting on weight. So something was going wrong there. And also, to get strong, I knew I needed to be doing a bit of weightlifting, and I didn't know how to do that without hurting myself, and I did not want to have injuries. So I took my time to find a personal trainer, and when I'm saying time, talked to different people at the gym, thought, I resonate with her, she's got a system, that's who I'm going with. And so I just do absolutely everything that she tells me to do because I can tell her my goals. She helps me to work out the best plan. She helps me with the working out all my macros and my diet. She's got the, these are the weights that you've got to lift. This is the exercise you've got to do. Doesn't mean I always like her. She kind of gets my don't muck with me face. But I just say to her, I trust you. You know what you're doing. I'm just going to do whatever you tell me to do. If you think I need to carry a heavier weight, I will do exactly what you say. Just tell me what to do. And the thing is, the results are there. So that's how I am doing that in my own life, where I actually say to her, you're the boss, baby. I trust you. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And that gets the results, because I know that that's what the clients who get the best results with me, that's what they do. And so my question to you is, are you kicking back against the advice? And I want you to ask yourself, why are you doing that? Is it because you don't trust the person that you've got? But if you go, well, no, I do. Well, look at yourself. Why are you fighting back? Is it a need for creativity? Or is it because you really don't want to do that work because it's moving you out of your comfort zone, or it seems too slow, or it's hard work? I want you to be really honest with yourself here, because this could be one of the things that could be holding you back. Now, we're up to the very, very last one, and I'm just going to get my notes here in front. And, okay, so this is the very, very last one, and it sounds kind of crazy when I say that the people who get the fastest results are the people who are focused on the long game. Sounds really counterintuitive, doesn't it? You would think it's the people who are going to hustle and go fast. That's and they're going for the quick results, and if it doesn't work, then move on to the next thing. It's not actually how it works, because when you play for the long game, and especially when you take into account these other factors that I've talked about, such as focusing on a personal best, is they don't see failure as the end. Is if something doesn't work, sure, people are human. They'll just go, oh no, I'm frustrated, have a good cry, perhaps a bit of a rant and a rave, and then they will go, okay, right, so what did work? What can I take and do better? What didn't work? Because I'm still moving towards my goal. What can I do now to keep on getting back? So it's that resilience that comes from not seeing a failure as, well, that's the end. Now, it also means that you're thinking, okay, well, I'm not doing this so well at the moment, but if I keep on improving, I'm going to get to where I want. So I'll give you a couple of examples that are in my own life. And one of those is I shared a podcast episode recently, and you can go and find it there on the Attract Your Tribe website, about when I worked on a launch for months. And I've been doing launches for years. I worked on a launch for months, finally went live and got 0 sales. Not a single sale. Months worth of work. How depressing. Now, it would have been very, very easy to just give up and go, well, the product was wrong, people don't want it, they don't like me, they're like, whatever, all those things. But instead, I applied this exact strategy that is actually one of the things that I do have very, very strongly, is that grit of not giving up. And if you listen to that podcast, you'll hear the exact steps that I took. That meant that what started off as a 0 sale has now made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. If I had given up then, it would never have happened. So another thing that you may find, and a great example, is I've got on the podcast page that goes with this episode some links there. And now one of those is a link to Oprah's audition video. And if you have a look at the video that she created, you look at it and you go, that is Oprah? That's pretty amateurish stuff. But because she didn't see that, what I'm doing here is not good enough, she just kept on working at it, kept on going. And, obvious, fantastic story. So there may be something that you are doing where you're thinking, this didn't work. And if we stick with the idea of videos that I just gave with Oprah, it could be that you're going, I'm going to do a video. But you did a Facebook Live, for example, and nobody watched. So you might go, well, what's the use? Why am I even doing this? It doesn't work. If you keep on going and thinking, all right, I'm not going to give up. What can I do next? What can I do better? Then you can start to see the huge change. I've also put a link there to the very first video that I did that I put out to my mailing list. And we're talking Amateurville, baby. But it has now video has become my major way of communicating with people. And it's my major way of getting my message out there with content. And it's what attracts people to me and converts. That's an example there. I've also got another podcast interview with Denise Duffield-Thomas where she shared how the very first time that she ran a webinar, nobody turned up. And the second time and the third time. She's now multi-millionaire. That again is playing the long game and not giving up. So my question to you is, are there things that you've come up against, something that it didn't work and you've given up? You've gone, that didn't work, or it was never going to work, or I did it wrong, this doesn't work. Whatever it is that you've got, are you playing the long game? Are you going to give up now when you get the first hurdle? Or are you going to keep that goal in mind? Because as counterintuitive as it sounds, the people who do get the best results in the fastest way, with the less stress, are playing that long game. So that is my challenge to you. Now, I've covered quite a lot here. And to make it really easy for you, I've got that action plan for you. So you can go to the podcast page. So it's on the romanceyourtribe.com website, and you can find this episode there. if you're on iTunes, you can just click the link and it'll take you over there. Now, on there, you can download this action sheet. I really do recommend you go and get that because I've designed it to make it really easy for you to be able to analyze the areas that you can improve on and some action steps that you can take for each of those 5 points. So that is there to help you. I would love to hear from you on any ahas that you have had from today, because I tell you what, now, I can help you with strategies. I can help you to know what's going to be the best things to suit your personality, your strengths, that's going to work in your business, the type of program that you need to create that's going to be best for you, the best way for you to be using content, the best way for you to convert. I can help you with all of those strategies. That's my gig. But if you don't master these steps, these mindset steps for success, it's a slow process for you. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to really, just totally be able to nail these 5 character traits. Because if you get that, then everything that I can do with you, everything that other people who can help you to grow your business and get your goals, the greater that you're going to be able to get a return on that time that you spend. And that's what I want for you, because baby, there are people who need you, people who are waiting for you to just step up, get out there and make it happen. And if these things are stopping you from doing that, everybody loses. Okay, so love to hear from you. Please leave your comments. And if you have a friend in business that you know that needs to hear this, I would be very grateful if you would pass this on to them, because they have got people who need them and they're just waiting. Okay, bye.